All right, so this week's hot topic, ooh wee. So Wendy Williams. She is a whole case, a whole case.
I feel like
Wendy
if
Williams
miserable was a
decided,
person, you would see her picture. Defiant is me, and then
right.
miserable is her.
Okay, I understand the point of her show. I understand what she does, but also there's still a line that can be crossed, and I feel like she crossed the line this time.
Yeah,
So Miss
definitely.
Wendy Williams went on her show and decided that she was gonna call out the fabulous Tabitha Brown. Y'all know Tabitha just be minding her good business, eating her avocados and potatoes and everything vegan. Well, Tabitha said on social media that she was going to be retiring her husband, who was in the LAPD for, I think, 15 years. So she said she was going to retire her husband and allow him to live out his dreams, do whatever he wanted to do, because for those 15 years, he supported her being an actress and now coming into the being a creator on social media and continuing to be an actress. But as we all know, those aren't careers that have steady income. But she's at a level now where she is getting a steady income and she can retire her husband, because being in the LAPD wasn't necessarily his dream, but he did it to take care of his family. So Wendy Williams got a catch of what was going on, and she's like on her show saying, well, pretty much, Tabitha, I don't know why you're doing that, because you're going to retire him. He's going to take all your money. He's going to cheat on you. He's going to go live another life. And I'm like, are we talking about Tabitha or are we talking about Wendy? Because
I mean, that's my question about 90% of the time when she says stuff.
I don't get, I understand what she went through and what happened in her relationship, and all the feelings that she had may be valid, but that doesn't mean. And then she had the nerve to say, I give this marriage just a few more years, or whatever she said. Like, what? Why would you say that about somebody's relationship?
Papa, I pass is what we learned in the beginning. I pass. You touch your eye and pass the woman.
Pass. Yes. Like, why would you say something like, you don't even know this lady?
First of
You don't
all,
know her husband either.
and you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Because I saw a headline that was like, Wendy said she wanted a divorce 2 years into her relationship. You don't know what's going on behind these people's clothes. Don't try to flip it and make it sound like you projecting all these feelings onto these people. Like, you need to go see a therapist.
Truly. Because of what you went through, you feel like
Everybody
that's
else
okay
in
to
the
say about
world.
somebody else's relationship?
Right. Everybody else in the world is going through the same thing.
Nah, that's not okay. So that brings me to my next question. Like, do you feel like Wendy is an exceptional case, or do you feel like in general people project based on maybe the things that they've been through, but they project onto others
Definitely.
because of their past?
Definitely. Because usually if you go to someone for advice on a topic, I feel like they're going to project whatever situations they may have went through in life or whatever they have witnessed, even if they didn't themselves personally go through it. They might like, well, I had a friend who did the same thing and this is what happened to them, so that's what's going to happen to you. It's never, I feel like people are always projecting. It's never with a clear mind are they giving you advice.
I can see that.
And I was going to say, especially if like they're a person like Wendy Williams who's so freshly wounded and scorned.
Yeah. I can see that. I know a couple that is married, but before they got married, when they were just dating, she had never had her heart broken, but her sister had and her friends had. And so she went into this relationship with her now husband, and he said to her, he's like, you act like you've had your heart broken before. And she was like, no, I never had my heart broken, but I've seen it be broken by other people. And it's like, But you've never personally had that experience, so why are you acting this way?
Right.
But it's like when you see things or when you experience things, that becomes a part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think people do always project, but also I think there's two sides to that. Like, it becomes who you are, but also I think it is possible because of those experiences, whether it's your own or someone else's, you can use that as an experience to say, okay, well,
I'm not going to go into this blindly. I'm going to go in. But then, is that fair though? To go into something, like, say it's a relationship. Is it fair to go into a relationship with all these apprehensions based off of other people's experiences?
well, I don't think it's a situation of whether it's fair or unfair, but like, so, okay, so if you're naive and you've never experienced something yourself or you've never seen someone else experience it, then you may go into something and be completely oblivious as to what's going on. You know how people say don't ignore the red flags?
Yeah.
You might even know what the red flags are because you've never seen it before.
That's true.
So the way I look at it is, okay, I know what the possibilities are. I know if somebody's out trying to kill me, I know what signs to look for a killer.
Right.
Like, I know what those red flags are.
Right.
So yeah, I just look at it as experience as opposed to something that's sort of holding you back.
I can understand that. I personally feel like Wendy Williams, it's like she her divorce was finalized in 2019. So, but supposedly, like, her marriage has been on the rocks for years. It's like nothing new. Like, when the husband came out that he had this baby or whatever with this woman, like, at this point, it was like, okay, it wasn't that shocking, I guess. So I feel like when it comes to certain topics on her show, she should just probably learn to, like, take the back seat on it. Because you can't, like we said, she doesn't live in Tabitha's house. She doesn't know what's going on over there. And if my fiance was to get to a point one day when he's like, you know what, Mickey, you don't have to work a full-time job anymore. Go follow your dreams. I'd be okay with that. And I know there were, like, he's made sacrifices for me to be able to finish school. He's made sacrifices for, like, when I wasn't working and I was the sole caregiver at home. Like, he's made sacrifices where, like, he works long hours. To this day, he still works, like, super long hours and I'm home with the kids. But that's how a relationship is sometimes. And I feel like if I ever get to the point where, like, I can tell him, you know what, you could quit this job and go do something that you really want to do, I would want him to do that.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the people in the relationship and what works for them, because what works for one person might not work for somebody else. Some people thrive off of being able to get up and go work a 9 to 5. Some
That's
people
true.
actually enjoy that.
Right.
So it just depends on the people that's in the relationship.
Yeah. And then sometimes it might not even be the fact that they don't want to work a 9 to 5. It might just be like, okay, I'm working this specific 9 to 5 just to pay the bills. And it might be like, okay, well, now that we're financially stable because of where you are in your career, I can quit this specific 9 to 5 and go work a career that I actually want to work. Whether that means I have the time to go back to school now or whatever the situation is. Like, every situation is unique.
And Miss Tabitha Brown, I love Tabitha so much. Sis came back. She said, oh, Miss Wendy got something to say. She came back with the most amazing clapback ever. It was shade wrapped up in bundles and bundles of love.
Right.
Okay? Sis said, I'm going to pray for you. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? Because clearly you're hurt. Clearly.
She gave Wendy Williams the cussing out of her lifetime that everybody needed to give her without saying not one cuss word or one mean thing.
Exactly.
I'm here for it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like it's not cool to be projecting your trauma onto people. Like, it's one thing to be like, to warn someone or to show them, like, the red flags of, like, stuff that can happen to them, but just simply projecting your self-hate, I guess, onto someone else, like, that's not cool. And I feel like Wendy Williams is constantly doing that. It's like she's not okay, because even like a few weeks ago when she told the advice that she gave to Erica Mena to leave Safari. Like, on what grounds does she have somebody to tell somebody to leave their husband?
Exactly, their whole husband.
Right.
Like, you can talk to her and be like, hey, this is what I see, or whatever. Let her do with that as she will.
Right. I'm not telling nobody to leave their husband unless he's like physically abusing you or something like that. Physically, mentally, emotionally abusing you.
This is just...
Like, that's not my place.
I feel like she
while
definitely
you're still
crossed the
young.
line
So
with
did
this
she
one.
wish that she left her husband while she was still young? No. You chose the bed that you chose your bed, now you lay in it.
Exactly. All right, so thank you guys for listening to another episode here on Momsly. Before we go, we're going to leave you with this week's mantra.
So this week's mantra is, today, above all else, I choose love. And that is, again,
One
one
more
more
time.
time. Today, above all else, I choose love. Wendy should have chose love.
Should have chose love. Always choose love.
Right. Some days you gotta wake up and choose violence though. But today, above all days, we're gonna choose love. Okay? Okay.
For this week at least.
Yes.
All right. Remember to stay updated with everything Momsly. Follow us on Instagram at MomslyPod. That's MOMSLYPOD.
And make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel at Momsly Podcast, because we do have video episodes now available. And on that note, we will see you guys next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday.